Commander Maya Patel moved silently through the crystalline corridors of Nexus Station, her modified stealth suit dampening both her heat signature and the sound of her footsteps. Intelligence had detected unusual energy signatures in this supposedly abandoned section of the massive space station, and Maya's team was tasked with investigating. What they hadn't expected was to find signs of Australian activity this far from their territory. The Australians were a mystery to humanity, a species of crystalline-based beings who possessed technology far beyond Earth's current capabilities. They kept to themselves, ruling their empire from worlds that orbited distant stars, only occasionally engaging in trade or diplomatic relations through intermediaries. Their royal family was said to be particularly enigmatic, with abilities that even their own people viewed with awe. Maya's tactical display showed another energy spike ahead. She signaled her team to hold position while she advanced, her augmented vision scanning for any signs of detection systems. The corridor opened into a vast chamber whose walls seemed to pulse with an inner light, and there, floating in the center of the room, was something Maya had never expected to see, an Australian royal in their natural form. The being before her was breathtaking, a humanoid figure composed of living crystal that shifted between colors like the aurora borealis. Streams of energy flowed through their form in complex patterns, and the air around them seemed to shimmer with potential. Maya knew she should retreat, report this finding immediately, but something held her transfixed. The crystalline figure suddenly turned, its faceted eyes focusing directly on Maya despite her stealth systems. "Your technology cannot hide you from me, human," a voice echoed in Maya's mind, feminine and musical yet tinged with surprise. "Though I admit, I did not expect to encounter one of your kind here." Maya straightened, knowing concealment was pointless now. "I could say the same. This station is in neutral space, outside Australian territory." She kept her tone professional, though her heart raced at this unprecedented encounter. The crystalline beings shifted, their form becoming more conventionally humanoid, though still composed of living crystal. "I am Princess Selenara of the Australian Empire. And you?" She paused, her head tilting slightly. "You are not what I expected from a human." "Commander Maya Patel, Earth Special Operations," Maya replied, noting how the princess's energy patterns changed as she spoke, creating ripples of color through her crystalline form. "If I may ask, Your Highness, what brings you to this abandoned station?" Selenara drifted closer, and Maya felt a strange tingling sensation across her skin. "Curious. Your emotional state, it's so vibrant, so raw. How do you function with such intensity?" The princess's voice held genuine wonder. Maya resisted the urge to step back, maintaining her professional demeanor despite the alien royal's proximity. "We manage." "You didn't answer my question, Your Highness." A sound like chimes filled the air. Selenara was laughing. "Direct, aren't you? Another surprising trait. My presence here relates to matters of state security, Commander. Though perhaps." She paused, her crystalline form flickering with new patterns. "Perhaps it would be beneficial to discuss this further. Your presence has unsettled certain plans." Before Maya could respond, her tactical display lit up with warnings. "Multiple contacts approaching," she reported, falling into a defensive stance. "Your security detail, I assume?" "No," Selenara's form pulsed with alarm. "These are not my people. Commander, I find myself in need of your assistance. There are forces at work here beyond your current understanding, and my presence must remain unknown." Maya quickly assessed her options. Protocol dictated she should withdraw and report this encounter immediately. But the opportunity to gain insight into the mysterious Australians, particularly through a member of their royal family, was too valuable to ignore. Besides, something about the princess's reaction to the approaching threats seemed genuine. "My team can provide escort to our ship," Maya offered, already signaling her squad to prepare for extraction. "Though I'll need some answers once we're secure." Selenara's form shimmered with what Maya interpreted as amusement. You are either very brave or very foolish to offer sanctuary to an alien princess, Commander Patel. Her crystalline structure began to compact, taking on a more solid form. Though I find your presence intriguingly disruptive to my normal state of being. Perhaps that is not entirely unwelcome. As Maya led the way out of the chamber, she couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter would change everything, for her, for Earth, and for the mysterious princess who seemed equally fascinated by her. The mission had just become far more complicated than a simple reconnaissance operation, and Maya suspected her life would never be quite the same again. The interior of the Earth vessel Hyperion hummed with barely contained energy as Commander Maya Patel led Princess Selenara through its corridors. The crystalline being's presence had already caused 3 sensor malfunctions and countless double takes from the crew. Maya couldn't blame them, even in her more condensed form. Selenara was a sight to behold, her crystalline body refracting light in ways that seemed to defy physics. Your ship's shielding is inadequate, Selenara observed, her voice resonating directly in Maya's mind. I can sense at least 7 different energy signatures that could compromise your systems. Maya felt a smile tugging at her lips despite the gravity of their situation. Not all of us can be living crystals with natural energy manipulation abilities, Your Highness. We make do with what we have. Please, the princess's form shimmered with what Maya was beginning to recognize as amusement. Call me Selenara. I believe we're past formalities, considering you just rescued me from a rather compromising situation. They reached the ship's secure conference room, where Maya's second-in-command, Lieutenant James Rivera, was waiting with a data tablet. His eyes widened slightly at Selenara's appearance, but his professional training held. Report, Maya ordered, taking her seat at the head of the table. Selenara remained floating, her crystalline form casting rainbow-like reflections across the room's surfaces. We've detected 3 unregistered vessels in pursuit, Rivera stated, bringing up a holographic display. Their energy signatures don't match any known configuration, but they're definitely not Australian. Selenara drifted closer to the display, her presence causing it to flicker slightly. They wouldn't be. These are ships belonging to the Nexus Syndicate, a criminal organization that has been attempting to acquire Australian technology for years. Maya leaned forward, her dark eyes fixed on the princess. And why exactly were they waiting for you at that station? The princess's form pulsed with colors that seemed to indicate discomfort. I may not have been entirely forthcoming about my presence there. I received intelligence that the Syndicate had acquired sensitive information about our crystalline matrix technology. Information that could be used to destabilize our entire society. And you decided to handle this personally? Maya's tone carried a hint of skepticism. Without your royal guard or official backup. My position is complicated, Selenara admitted, her usually melodic mental voice taking on a harder edge. There are factions within my own court who would benefit from this information being leaked. I couldn't risk involving anyone who might be compromised. Maya exchanged a look with Rivera, who nodded slightly and left the room, understanding the need for privacy. Once they were alone, Maya stood and approached the floating princess, noting how Selenara's crystalline structure seemed to react to her proximity, creating subtle ripples of color. You're telling me this is an inside job? That your own people are working with criminals to undermine your empire? What I'm telling you, Commander Patel, Selenara's form contracted slightly, becoming more densely crystalline, is that I trust you more than I trust many of my own advisors right now. Your presence, it disrupts my natural state in ways I don't fully understand, but it also makes it impossible for me to maintain the diplomatic facades I usually employ. Around you, I find myself compelled toward honesty. Maya ran a hand through her short black hair, a habit she developed during difficult tactical situations. That's flattering, I suppose. But it doesn't explain why these syndicate ships are still pursuing us, or what exactly was in that data they stole. Selenara's form suddenly flared with brilliant light, causing Maya to step back. They didn't steal anything, Commander. I planted false information to draw them out, to identify their contacts within my court. But something went wrong. They were waiting for me with technology that should have been impossible for them to possess. A trap within a trap, Maya mused, beginning to understand. And now you're stuck on a human ship, being pursued by criminals, unable to contact your own people because you don't know who to trust. She couldn't help but smile slightly. You know, most first dates aren't quite this exciting. The princess's crystalline form flickered rapidly, creating a cascade of colors that Maya hadn't seen before. First, date? I'm not familiar with this term, but your emotional response suggests. Oh. Her mental voice took on a flustered quality that Maya found oddly endearing. You're employing humor to deflect from the seriousness of our situation. Partially, Maya admitted, turning back to the tactical display. I'm also trying to figure out why my supposedly routine reconnaissance mission has turned into an interstellar diplomatic incident involving a princess, conspirators, and advanced technology. And why said princess seems to have such an unusual reaction to my presence. Selenara drifted closer, her crystalline form emanating a warmth that Maya could feel. Perhaps that is the most intriguing mystery of all, Commander. My people pride themselves on emotional and physical control, on maintaining perfect crystalline harmony. Yet since the moment I encountered you, that harmony has been disrupted. Your very presence seems to resonate with my crystalline matrix in ways that should be impossible. Before Maya could respond, the ship's alert system blared to life. Rivera's voice came over the comm, Commander, we've got problems. Those pursuit ships? They just got reinforcements. Big ones. Maya straightened, falling back into command mode even as she noticed how Selenara's form seemed to pulse in sync with her elevated heartbeat. Well, Your Highness, it looks like we'll have to solve the mystery of our unusual connection later. Right now, we need to figure out how to get out of this mess alive. Indeed, Selenara agreed, her form shifting into a more concentrated configuration that Maya recognized as a battle-ready stance. Though I must admit, Commander, few things have made me feel more alive than being in your disruptive presence. Maya allowed herself a small smile as she headed for the bridge. Whatever was coming, she had a feeling that having an emotionally compromised alien princess on her side might prove to be an unexpected advantage. Now she just had to figure out how to keep them both alive long enough to explore exactly what that connection meant. The Hyperion's bridge erupted into chaos as Maya burst through the doors, Selenara's crystalline form floating close behind her. Multiple hostile ships filled the main view screen, their weapons already charging. Status report. Maya commanded, sliding into her captain's chair. Her fingers flew across the tactical controls while her crew responded with practiced efficiency. 7 hostile vessels, Commander, Rivera announced from his station. 5 syndicate ships and 2, well, we've never seen anything like them before. Selenara drifted forward, her crystalline form casting prismatic patterns across the bridge displays. Sovereign-class Australian warships, she announced, her mental voice tight with concern. But they shouldn't be here. Those ships are assigned to protect the royal palace. Your conspirators showing their hand? Maya asked, already plotting evasive maneuvers. The Hyperion shuddered as the first volley of enemy fire struck their shields. Yes, but this is worse than I feared. Selenara's form pulsed with urgent energy. Those ships carry quantum destabilization weapons. They're designed to disrupt crystalline matrices like mine. They're not trying to capture me anymore, they're trying to shatter me. Maya's hands tightened on her controls. Not happening. Rivera, divert all non-essential power to the shields. Engineering, I need everything you can give the engines. She turned to Selenara. I don't suppose you have any royal override codes for those warships? They've already locked me out of the command systems, Selenara replied, her form flickering with frustration. But perhaps. Commander, if I interface directly with your ship's systems, I might be able to enhance your shields against their weapons. Interface with our systems? Won't that be dangerous for you? Maya asked, even as she executed a complex evasive pattern that kept them just ahead of the enemy's targeting solutions. Extremely. And it will require me to lower my own natural defenses. Selenara's mental voice softened. I will need to trust you completely, Maya Patel. My crystalline form will be vulnerable while I'm connected to your ship. One direct hit from those destabilization weapons. I won't let them hit you, Maya promised, her voice carrying absolute conviction. Their eyes met, Maya's deep brown ones locking with Selenara's faceted crystalline orbs. Something passed between them, an understanding that went beyond words. Engineering, prepare for an energy transfer, Maya commanded, never breaking eye contact with the princess. Everyone else, battle stations. No one touches our guest while she's helping us. Selenara's form began to expand, her crystalline structure extending tendrils of living crystal toward the ship's control interfaces. As she connected, the bridge lighting flickered, and Maya felt a strange tingling sensation through her tactical controls. The sensation you're experiencing, Selenara's mental voice now seemed to come from everywhere at once, is your ship systems being enhanced by my crystalline matrix. I've never shared myself like this with non-Australian technology before. Maya watched in amazement as their shield strength doubled, then tripled. The hostile ship's next volley barely registered as a tremor. Well, I'd say it's working. Rivera, return fire. Let's show them what happens when you combine human ingenuity with Australian power. The Hyperion's weapons lashed out with unprecedented force, their energy signatures altered and enhanced by Selenara's influence. Two of the Syndicate ships immediately lost power, their systems overwhelmed by the hybrid attack. But the Australian warships pressed their attack, their quantum destabilization beams searching for any weakness in the Hyperion's enhanced defenses. Maya could see the strain it was putting on Selenara. The princess's crystalline form vibrated with effort, her usual rainbow colors beginning to fade to a concerning pale blue. Your Highness, Selenara, Maya corrected herself, concern evident in her voice. You need to disconnect. You're burning yourself out. No, Selenara's mental voice was strained but determined. I can feel it, Maya. My connection to your ship, to you, it's changing something fundamental about how my crystalline matrix functions. The destabilization weapons, they're having less effect than they should. Maya wanted to argue, but her tactical training told her they needed every advantage they could get. Instead, she focused on keeping the ship moving in unpredictable patterns, trying to minimize the strain on their defenses while maximizing their offensive opportunities. Commander, Rivera called out, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations in the enemy warship's engine cores. Whatever the princess is doing to our weapons, it's causing some kind of resonance effect in their systems. Selenara's form suddenly pulsed with brilliant light. Of course. Maya, your human technology, it's so beautifully chaotic, so unpredictable. Combined with my crystalline energy, it's creating interference patterns that their rigid systems can't handle. Can we use that? Maya asked, already adjusting their attack pattern to target the fluctuations Rivera had detected. Yes, but... Selenara's form flickered again, but I'll need to go deeper into your systems. The integration will be more complete. Maya, if something goes wrong. I trust you, Maya said simply, and she meant it. Despite having known the princess for less than a day, despite all the protocols she was breaking, she knew in her gut that this was right. Selenara's crystalline form seemed to glow from within at Maya's words. The princess's energy spread further through the ship's systems, and Maya felt an unexpected warmth in her chest, as if some part of Selenara's essence had reached out to her personally. Together then, Selenara's mental voice was filled with an emotion Maya couldn't quite identify. Let me show you what happens when human chaos and Australian order find perfect harmony. The Hyperion systems surged with power as ship and princess became one, their combined strength radiating out into space like a newborn star. Maya smiled, her hands steady on the controls as she prepared to show their pursuers exactly why underestimating either humans or alien princesses was a very bad idea. In the aftermath of the battle, the Hyperion drifted in the shelter of a nebula, its systems humming with residual crystalline energy. Maya stood in the ship's observation deck, watching the swirling gases outside while monitoring Selenara's recovery. The princess's crystalline form had withdrawn from the ship's systems, but the integration had left its mark on both of them. "Your concern is distracting," Selenara's mental voice carried a hint of amusement as she floated beside Maya. Her form was dimmer than usual, still recovering from the strain of the battle, but there was a new quality to her crystalline structure, subtle patterns that seemed to pulse in sync with Maya's heartbeat. "You nearly shattered yourself saving my ship," Maya replied, turning to face the princess. "I think I'm entitled to a little concern." "What I nearly did," Selenara corrected, drifting closer, "was discover something unprecedented. The integration with your ship's systems, with your human technology, it should have been impossible. My people have tried to interface with non-crystalline technology before. It always failed." Maya raised an eyebrow. "So what made this different?" "You did." Selenara's form shimmered with complex emotions. "Your presence, your chaos. It changed everything. Maya, you must understand, my people pride themselves on perfect order, on crystalline harmony. We view human emotions as primitive, dangerous. But when I connected to your ship, when I felt your determination, your trust." She paused, her form pulsing with new colors. It was like discovering a whole new spectrum of existence. Before Maya could respond, Rivera's voice came over the comm. "Commander, we're detecting quantum signatures approaching. Multiple vessels. More pursuers." Maya asked, already moving toward the bridge. "No," Selenara's mental voice was tight with tension. "Worse. That's my royal guard. They must have tracked the energy signature from our battle." Her form flickered anxiously. "Maya, if they find me here, if they discover what I've done. They'll what? Ground you? Take away your royal allowance?" Maya tried to joke, but Selenara's next words froze her in place. "They'll try to purify me. The integration with your technology, the changes in my crystalline matrix, they'll see it as corruption. They'll attempt to force my form back to its original state, erasing all trace of." She hesitated, her form shifting closer to Maya. "All trace of you." Maya felt her heart rate spike, and noticed how Selenara's colors rippled in response. "They can't do that. You're their princess. Which makes it even more imperative that I remain pure in their eyes." Selenara's form suddenly contracted, becoming more densely crystalline. "Maya, I have to leave. If I return voluntarily, if I maintain the appearance of proper royal conduct." "No." Maya's voice was firm. "There's another way. There has to be." The ship's alert system blared to life as multiple Australian vessels dropped out of quantum space around them. Their crystalline structures dwarfed the Hyperion, their weapons already charging. "Your radiance," a new mental voice boomed through the ship, causing several crew members to wince. "By order of the Crystal Throne, you will return to the palace immediately. The human vessel will surrender for inspection and quarantine." Maya watched as Selenara's form seemed to war with itself, patterns of light and color cascading through her crystalline structure. The princess was caught between duty and desire, between the rigid expectations of her people and the newfound freedom she discovered in Maya's presence. "Whatever you decide," Maya said softly, "I've got your back. But for what it's worth, I think running away from who you really are is a poor way to serve your people." Selenara turned to her, and Maya felt a surge of emotion through their newfound connection. "You continue to disrupt everything I thought I knew, Maya Patel." Her form suddenly blazed with renewed energy. "Perhaps it's time my people learned to handle a little disruption." The princess expanded her crystalline form, not toward the royal vessels demanding her return, but toward the Hyperion systems once again. This time, however, something was different. Maya felt warmth spread through her chest as Selenara's energy connected not just with the ship, but with her directly. "What my people fear," Selenara's mental voice rang with determination, "is not that I will be corrupted by human chaos. They fear that I will show them a better way, a way that combines the best of both our species." Her form pulsed with power. "Maya, if you're willing. I think it's time we showed them exactly what that combination can do." Maya smiled, placing her hand against the nearest crystal surface of Selenara's form. The contact sent shivers of energy through them both. "I'm with you, Your Highness. Let's give them a demonstration they won't forget." As the Royal Guard vessels moved to surround them, Maya felt Selenara's presence merge more deeply with both her and the ship than ever before. This wasn't just a tactical alliance anymore, it was a revolution in the making, sparked by an impossible connection between a human commander and an alien princess who had discovered that sometimes the most perfect order could be found in embracing chaos. The space around the Hyperion crystallized with tension as Selenara's Royal Guard ships maintained their threatening formation. Inside the human vessel, something unprecedented was taking place. The crystalline princess's energy had merged not only with the ship's systems but with Maya herself, creating a connection that defied the laws of both their species. "Your Radiance," the Royal Guard commander's mental voice boomed again, "your crystalline matrix shows signs of severe contamination. You must return for purification immediately." Maya felt Selenara's response through their shared connection before the princess broadcast it to the fleet. "My matrix is not contaminated, Commander. It has evolved. As our people must evolve if we are to survive." The princess's form expanded throughout the bridge, her crystalline structure now incorporating swirling patterns that matched the rhythm of Maya's breathing. Where their energies merged, new colors formed, colors that neither human eyes nor Australian sensors had ever registered before. "The rigid perfection we have pursued for millennia," Selenara continued, her mental voice carrying an authority that made the royal ship's crystalline structures vibrate in response, "has become our prison. We fear change so much that we would rather shatter than adapt." Maya stepped forward, her hand intertwined with a tendril of Selenara's crystalline form. Through their connection, she could feel the princess's determination, her fear, and something deeper, a profound revelation about the nature of strength and adaptation. "Your human has corrupted you," the guard commander accused. "This emotional instability is exactly what our people need." Selenara's form flared with passion, and Maya felt the energy surge through their connection. "Look at your sensors. Look at what I've become. I am not weakened by this connection, I am transformed by it." The human capacity for adaptation, for embracing chaos and finding new order within it, it's not a weakness. It's the key to evolution we've been too afraid to grasp. The Hyperion systems surged with unprecedented power as Selenara demonstrated her point. The princess's crystalline energy, now harmonized with human technology and emotion, created patterns of light and energy that made the Royal Guard's formations waver. "Impossible," one of the guard ships transmitted. "Her power levels, they're beyond anything in our records." Maya smiled, feeling Selenara's satisfaction through their bond. "Your princess," she broadcast to the fleet, "hasn't been corrupted by human chaos. She's learned to dance with it. And if you're smart, you'll realize that's exactly what your entire species needs to learn." Through their connection, Maya felt Selenara's gratitude for her words, along with a surge of something deeper, an emotion that transcended both human and Australian understanding. The princess's form shifted, creating a display of power and beauty that held both command and invitation. "I am still your princess," Selenara declared to her people's ships. "I am still Australian. But I am also something new, proof that evolution doesn't mean losing who we are. It means becoming more than we ever imagined possible." The Royal Guard's ships hung in space, their crystalline structures processing this unprecedented situation. Maya felt Selenara's anxiety through their bond, but also her unwavering conviction. This was a moment that would change both their species forever. Finally, the guard commander's mental voice returned, carrying a note of wonder beneath its formal tone. The crystal throne must be informed of these developments, Your Radiance. Yes, Selenara agreed, her form pulsing with quiet triumph. They must. And I will show them personally. She turned her attention to Maya, their connection flooding with shared emotion. Commander Patel, would you and your ship be willing to escort me home? I believe it's time my people learned to handle a human's presence, starting with the one who taught their princess how to embrace chaos. Maya grinned, feeling Selenara's joy ripple through their bond. Lead the way, Your Radiance. Something tells me this is going to be the start of a beautiful diplomatic revolution. Oh, much more than diplomatic, I think. Selenara's mental voice carried a warmth that made Maya's heart race. The princess's crystalline form embraced her more fully, their energies dancing together in patterns that would have scandalized traditional Australian society. After all, I believe I'm still learning just how much of your presence I can handle. As the Hyperion took its place in the formation of crystalline ships, Maya felt Selenara's presence settle into a harmony she'd never thought possible, a perfect balance of order and chaos, of duty and desire, of tradition and evolution. Together, they had discovered something neither of their species had dreamed possible, that sometimes the most perfect crystalline structure was one that could bend without breaking, one that could incorporate chaos into its very matrix and emerge stronger for it. The stars streaked past as they headed toward the Australian throne world, but Maya knew the real journey was just beginning. She had fallen in love with an alien princess, helped spark a cultural revolution, and proved that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe was the ability to embrace change, even if that change came in the form of a human whose very presence could shake the foundations of an crystalline empire. Selenara's form shimmered with contentment as they traveled through space, her energy perfectly attuned to Maya's presence. The princess who supposedly couldn't handle a human's presence had done more than just handle it, she had transformed it into something entirely new, proving that the most beautiful crystals were those that dared to grow in unexpected directions.